Further complicating matters, the Supreme Court is set to rule in the coming months on President Trump's authority to issue those tariffs. What has changed is that there are more MAGA Republicans in both of those chambers, and they're more organized in how they want to pursue their agenda. You can see evidence of both where he came from and his ambitions just in the interviews I've done with him. For example, some of the policies that he's pushing for, something like the Affordable Connectivity Program, that was a program that actually expired, but it provided a $30 internet subsidy each month for millions of Americans. He has gone against his party to advocate for that again and again. Right now, the two candidates are in a dead heat, even though Barrino is a political outsider. Now, part of that is because of the millions upon millions of dollars that have poured into this race, making it the most expensive non-presidential election in American history. What do you make of the fact that this is the second time that someone has accused you of physical abuse?
Do you feel the Democrats should have consulted you before they agreed to it?
The polls are close. Are you nervous about that? I do want to push back on when you say you did nothing wrong, because the judge did fine you a significant amount.
Are you concerned if Russia were to win, the consequences for the U.S. internationally?
You've mentioned that you think President Biden may also pardon his brother and himself. Does he need to do that? Are you going to continue investigating him? In Ohio alone, that would be at least thousands of people unable to vote. Isn't that a bigger threat to a free and fair election?
And I want to be clear, this is something that I never wanted to do.
Congressman Max Miller opening up about his bitter custody battle with his ex-wife, Emily Marino, the daughter of Ohio Senator Bernie Marino. The fight spilling out into the open last month when Miller filed a defamation suit against Emily Marino after she accused him of physical abuse, including that he threw scalding water at her. She has also made allegations that Miller physically abused their now 2-year-old daughter. How do you respond to them?
They're false allegations. Our divorce was finalized in December of 18 of 25. No police reports were ever filed. Harry, once again, we're talking about a woman who sadly isn't all there.
Miller has alleged his ex-wife is making the allegations because she has untreated bipolar disorder. His ex-wife's attorney says she has no diagnosis of that disorder. This is not the first time Miller has sued for defamation. In 2021, he sued ex-girlfriend Stephanie Grisham, the former White House press secretary, after she accused him of physical and mental abuse. He denied the allegations and later dropped the suit. What do you make of the fact that this is the second time that someone has accused you of physical abuse?
Without question, every allegation should be taken seriously. What should be noted is that allegation came out on the same day as somebody's book launch. My ex-wife was with me, and she, in her own words, will tell you that I never did any of those things.
Miller provided Spectrum News with an audio recording from 2024 in which Marino says she doesn't think Miller would hurt her physically, but that he has harmed her emotionally and mentally. Miller says the custody battle does not affect his working relationship with Senator Bernie Marino, his ex-father-in-law, even as Miller accuses him of enabling his daughter.
She's being completely enabled to push this false narrative that they know isn't true. I do not know if I would support my daughter in this endeavor.
Senator Marino's office has declined to comment on the custody battle. Miller's suit also says Emily Marino's allegations are hurting his campaign's ability to raise funds for his re-election. Democratic challenger Brian Poindexter wrote in a statement, "Allegations of domestic abuse and child abuse deserve the full attention of law enforcement. Our campaign is focused on defeating Miller because his voting record has been disastrous for working families."
People want to make campaigns about palace intrigue and personal drama. That's not what wins elections.
Does that undercut the defamation suit, though?
Oh, not at all. I mean, what she has done and what she has said and what her attorney has said and his law firm, I do have damages. But my point is this, Harry, they aren't going to hurt me enough for me to lose an election.
The Cook Political Report rates Ohio's 7th District as solidly Republican, but notes that Miller's, quote, personal baggage could make him vulnerable. In Washington, Harri Leigh, Spectrum News. Akron's Howard Street once formed the center of a thriving black neighborhood dubbed Little Harlem.
People were comfortable. I remember Worcester Avenue being a thriving place. You'd go grocery shopping, go to the record store. And my grandfather had a barber shop on Rhodes Avenue.
Albert Bragg Jr. shined shoes at that barber shop. But in the 1960s, the federal government spent heavily on so-called urban renewal projects designed to revitalize cities by demolishing blighted neighborhoods. In Akron, homes and businesses were to be replaced by the Innerbelt, an interstate highway that would run straight through Bragg's grandfather's barber shop.
His customer base was wiped out because they lived in the homes that were right on the Innerbelt.
Of the 700 houses that were destroyed by 1970, 80% were owned by African Americans. Each family received no more than $5,000 to relocate, adjusted for inflation, about $51,000 today.
The opportunity for black generational wealth disappeared within that decade then, and created circumstances in Akron that eventually would lead to civil disturbances, that would lead to a legacy of black families not being able to grow their family's wealth.
But nearly 2 decades after construction began, the project had no end in sight and was eventually abandoned, leaving behind a literal highway to nowhere. The unfinished Innerbelt became a physical and generational scar for the city. But 5 years ago, Akron officials launched a project to finally heal the wound. After dozens of community meetings to hear what residents wanted, a master plan was drafted to replace the 1-mile stretch of abandoned highway with housing, businesses, and public spaces. A major goal, reuniting the two halves of the neighborhood that had been split by the Innerbelt plan. In January, the Biden administration awarded Akron $10 million to begin the redevelopment, money the city pledged to match.
And so that would have allowed us to do some initial changes to the roadway network.
The money came from the Reconnecting Communities pilot program, a Biden-era effort to right the wrongs created by transportation projects like the Innerbelt that more often than not harmed predominantly black communities. It was funded under the 2021 bipartisan infrastructure law. But shortly after President Donald Trump took office, he signed an order ending all so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives.
My administration has taken action to abolish all discriminatory diversity, equity, and inclusion nonsense, and these are policies that were absolute nonsense.
That included freezing funds for all 83 projects in the Reconnecting Communities program, pending reviews of each program. Now, construction is on hold.
And so with that, we've had to temper expectations.
Asked for comment, the Department of Transportation maintained that no grants were frozen, but added the department is expediting the release of long overdue infrastructure funds while eliminating unnecessary DEI, environmental, and social justice requirements that Congress never authorized. The grant is actively under review to ensure alignment with those priorities. The local Congresswoman, Democrat Amelia Sykes, introduced an amendment to the president's big domestic policy bill to release the funding, but Republicans opposed it.
That means that laborers and iron workers and painters and a lot of good union jobs are not going to move forward because these grants were inhibited.
City leaders say they hope the project can still move forward.
Now is some uncertainty, but in the face of that, guess what? We are still planning. We are still ideating. We are still offering hope to our residents and our community and focusing on what could be.
What could be, but for now, Akron residents can't say what will be, as this scar dividing their neighborhood endures. In Akron, Ohio, Harri Leigh, Spectrum News.